How many Republican congressmen or women did you talk to before you made that statement?
It is also incredibly important to make sure that taxpayers at the
I'm
top
not,
of the distribution
we agree on
pay their
Israel,
fair
but I
share.
just can't believe you would say this about members of Congress. It's pretty pejorative, vicious. Let me finish.
We now turn to Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all of our witnesses today.
Wait, listen.
Professor Sarin, you're a professor at Yale Law School?
I am.
Okay. And I see you've been pretty active on Twitter. I'm looking at one of your tweets from a few months ago, October 30th, 2023. I'd like to read it to you. The House Republican stance is, I kid you not, support for Israel as long as we make it easier for people to cheat on their taxes. End quote. Did you tweet that?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. How many Republican congressmen or women did you talk to before you made that statement?
I was reacting to the fact that, and we've talked about it actually.
Yes,
so
ma'am,
far
but
in this.
first, if you could, how many Republican congresswomen or congressmen did you talk to?
I didn't talk to them. I actually was just reacting to the legislation that was proposed.
You didn't
and
talk to any of them
No, sir.
before you said that every single one of them supports Israel only if it is made easier for people to cheat on their taxes?
I actually don't think that every single one of them believes
But
that.
that's what
I-
you
But I
said.
do think that the legislation passed by the House reflects a statement of purpose that in order to support Israel, it's
But I'm
important
looking at
to
what you said.
allow
what your
taxpayers to
students
be able
saw.
to
You
cheat on their
said
taxes.
that every single House Republican, none of whom you talked to, would only support Israel if it was made easier for Americans to cheat on their taxes. Now, you said that, and you didn't talk to any of them.
Senator Kennedy,
Didn't
I am struck by, and perhaps this is something on which we agree, that it is incredibly important to support Israel. It is also incredibly important to make sure that taxpayers at the top of the distribution
we agree on
pay their
Israel,
fair
but I
share.
just can't believe you would say this about members of Congress. It's pretty pejorative, vicious. Let me finish. Without talking to them. I mean, would it be possible for somebody to support a reduction to the IRS budget because they simply believe the federal government ought to have a balanced budget? Would that be a fair position? Would that be a principled position?
Except that that actually doesn't work with respect to defunding
But would
the
it be a
IRS.
principled position?
It wouldn't be an accurate position because defunding
But you don't
the
know because you
IRS
didn't talk to anybody, did you?
Well,
you just said it.
Defunding the IRS, the CBO agrees, everyone who's testifying today agrees that that is going to add to deficits, not reduce
Could
them.
it be that a House Republican wanted to reduce the IRS's budget because they think that the IRS is a model of inefficiency and shouldn't be rewarded with more money?
Well,
Could that have been a possibility, a motivation for the way they
Senator
voted?
Kennedy, I so appreciate that question because the reality
Could that have been
that the
a
reason-
motivation for the way they voted?
and it relates very closely to what Senator
Could
King
that have
said.
been a motivation for the way they
reason
voted?
That you've seen an inefficient
Could that have
IRS.
been a motivation
If you allow
for
the
the way they
witness to
voted?
answer, you might get your answer, Senator
It
Kennedy.
frankly couldn't have been.
It
because
could or couldn't?
It could not have been.
How do you know you didn't talk to them?
Because the reason why you've seen
You
an
just
IRS
made this
that
statement that
hasn't been able.
every Republican in the House supports Israel only if it has been made easier for people to cheat on their taxes. Could it be that maybe a House member thought that, well, the more money we spend, the more deficits we have, and the more deficits we have, the more pressure is put on interest rates, and the higher interest rates go, the more it hurts the poor. Could that have been
Senator
the position of one of the House Republicans?
Senator Kennedy.
Could it have been theoretically?
Couldn't have been.
What happens when a U.S. Senator confronts a Yale law professor over a viral social media post? That's exactly what unfolded during a heated Senate hearing when Senator John Kennedy challenged the professor over a tweet accusing House Republicans of supporting Israel only if it became easier for Americans to cheat on their taxes. Kennedy wasn't interested in debating policy at first. He wanted to know one thing. Did she actually talk to any Republicans before making that accusation? Let's break down the exchange. Kennedy begins by reading the professor's October 2023 post word for word. The tweet claimed that House Republicans supported Israel only if it also meant making tax cheating easier. Then came Kennedy's first question. How many Republican members of Congress did you talk to before making that statement? Her answer was simple. None. She explained that she was reacting to the legislation itself, not conversations with lawmakers. But Kennedy immediately seized on that admission. Kennedy repeatedly asks whether Republicans could have voted to reduce IRS funding for reasons unrelated to helping tax cheats that he suggests several possibilities. Wanting a balanced federal budget. Believing the IRS is inefficient. Concern about growing deficits and higher interest rates. Each time, the professor insists those explanations don't hold up because, in her view, reducing IRS funding would ultimately increase deficits. Kennedy keeps returning to the same point. How do you know? You never talk to them. The exchange quickly becomes one of the most intense moments of the hearing. If you're enjoying this breakdown of major Senate hearings, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest coverage.
Because everyone...
It couldn't have been?
It frankly couldn't.
How do you know you didn't talk to him?
Well, I know that everyone agrees, including witnesses across the aisle, including CBO, including every single tax expert that has contemplated this question, that defunding the IRS makes deficits worse, not better. And so this is a deficit
I just find it,
measure.
Professor, appalling that you would make a statement like this, a vicious statement like this, without talking to a single person about whom you made this statement. And I'm going to remind you, you can only be young once, but you can always be immature. And you ought to think about that.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Let me just say that I think that the treatment of witnesses is beginning to degrade a bit here. And I'm going to strike some commentary if it continues down this road. I think personal insults to witnesses are not appropriate, and I will not be tolerant of that in this committee.
Well, could I respond, Mr. Chairman? You're going to
Fire away. I think you just called a
You're going to do what you got to do, but I'm going to continue to use my time. You bring witnesses as you're entitled to, and some of them are very good. Some of them have the credibility of Michael Avenatti, and I'm going to use my time when I think it's appropriate to test.
And I'm going to use my authority as chairman
to test
as I think
credibility,
it is appropriate
witnesses'
as well,
credibility.
in
So
order
you
to
do
keep
what you
order
got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do.
Good behavior in
But
a
if that
Senate
is meant
committee.
to bully me, you're talking
No
to
attempt
the
to
wrong
bully
guy.
you.
Okay.
No attempt to bully you, none at all. It's to keep the witness and the committee free of bullying.
I'm entitled to test their credibility, and I think one of our witnesses just got tested.
I hope I passed, Senator. Thank you.
You didn't.
After several rounds of questioning, Kennedy delivers his strongest rebuke that he says he's appalled that such a sweeping accusation was made without speaking to any of the people being criticized. Then comes the line that immediately grabbed attention. You can only be young once, but you can always be immature. The room noticeably reacts as Kennedy concludes his questioning. The committee chairman quickly intervenes that he warns that the treatment of witnesses is becoming inappropriate and says personal insults will not be tolerated. Kennedy pushes back. Defending his questioning, he argues that senators have every right to test the credibility of witnesses invited to testify before Congress, that he insists that holding witnesses accountable is part of the Senate's oversight responsibility, and says he will continue using his time to challenge testimony when necessary. The hearing ends with both sides standing firmly by their positions. This hearing wasn't just about tax policy, It became a debate over credibility, political rhetoric, and whether public accusations should be backed by direct evidence. Kennedy argued that sweeping claims require first-hand knowledge, while the professor maintained that the legislation itself justified her criticism. What do you think? Was Senator Kennedy right to challenge the witness so aggressively, or did the questioning go too far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video for more coverage of the biggest moments from Capitol Hill. Senator John Kennedy confronted a Yale Law School professor over a controversial social media post during a tense Senate hearing. Kennedy repeatedly questioned why she made sweeping claims about House Republicans without speaking to a single member of Congress. The exchange escalated into a heated debate over IRS funding, federal deficits, political rhetoric, and witness credibility before the committee chairman stepped in to address the tone of the hearing. Watch the full breakdown of this dramatic Senate hearing and decide for yourself. Was Kennedy exposing an unfair accusation, or did the exchange go too far? Thumbs up, like, speech balloon. Comment, bell, subscribe for more coverage of U.S. Senate hearings, congressional investigations, and the biggest moments in American politics. Hashtag John Kennedy, hashtag Senate hearing, hashtag Congress, hashtag IRS, hashtag politics, hashtag Yale, hashtag tax policy, hashtag U.S. Senate, hashtag political news, hashtag breaking news.